Directors of the Hastings Chamber. It's my honor to introduce Mayor Hicks today. Mayor Paul Hicks was born and raised in Hastings. He is a 1978 graduate of Hastings High School and graduated from Hamline University in 1982 with a BA in political science. Mayor Hicks has volunteered for many organizations, including the Hastings JCs, Urban Concerns Incorporated, SOAR, Hastings Alumni Association, and Hastings Access Television Corporation. In 1997, he was selected as one of the 10 outstanding young Minnesotans by the Minnesota JCs. He has been employed by the Minnesota House of Representatives for 35 years, where he works as a supervisor in the office of the chief clerk. He is a member of the American Society of Legislative Clerks and Secretaries. Mayor Hicks served as chairman of the Parks and Recreation Commission for 6 years prior to being elected as an at-large member to the Hastings City Council in 1990. He was re-elected in 1994, 1998, and 2002. He was elected the 57th mayor of Hastings in 2006 and re-elected in 2010 and 2014. Mayor Hicks has a daughter, Danielle, who is a sophomore at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, majoring in forensics investigations. It is my honor to present to you Mayor Paul Hicks.
Great venue to do this at. I think it's terrific. So, and please feel free to keep eating, okay? And I'm sure it's not going to be like the other night where we see half the room stand up and the other half the room sit down, and we say something else and then we do it again. So, but I do want to start by expressing my appreciation to the Hastings Chamber of Commerce, Chair Rother, your organization, and President Christy Barse. And also congratulations to the Chamber for their 50th anniversary this year, 50th anniversary of the Chamber. I think that's great. Which, if I do my math right, okay, it was 1968. Nothing happened during that year, so why not start, right? 1968. That's how I got involved in politics, so what a year. I also want to acknowledge Dakota Electric Association, who's also a sponsor of today's event. And Mr. Greg Miller, the CEO, please stand, Greg. Thank you so much from your organization for sponsoring today. Thank you. I want to thank Wendy, who is the owner here. Most of us know Wendy, and her staff. What a terrific venue they provided here today. And the only thing better than the fabulous food we had for lunch was the service. So thank you for them. We can always expect that here at the Onion Grille. I want to make a note of appreciation to KDWA Radio, Hastings Community TV, and the Hastings Star-Gazette. I see Michelle's right over there writing her notes. I've always respected and appreciated your important role in communicating civic matters to our residents. I believe in the principle that when the rights of free speech and free press are at risk, all the other liberties we hold dear are endangered. And so appreciate all that they do on that kind of a level. So thank you. We have, before I begin, some distinguished guests here that I want to recognize. First of all, State Representative Tony Jurgens is here. Tony, thank you for being here. Since I have that 35-year relationship working for the House of Representatives, it's always been a pleasure to work with Tony. It's kind of unique. You know, he can go 50 paces from his desk on the House floor and talk to the mayor of Hastings if there's something going on legislatively. So we've always felt that was a real advantage. So thank you, Tony. We also have Wendy Wolf. Wendy, where are you? Please stand. From the Metropolitan Council, our representative on the Met Council. Wendy's been very helpful and instrumental in helping the City of Hastings with many of the grants that we submit to help us with the Hudson Building Project and Art Space and many others, and our riverfront, quite frankly. So thank you, Wendy, and your support at Met Council for all the projects we're involved in here in Hastings. And I just wanted to make a special note because we had an opportunity to speak this earlier today is Paul Langenfeld. Paul, from the Langenfeld Foundation. They just got notified their WCCO Good Neighbor Award that's coming up. And why that was so important is because they got it for the help of relief for the hurricanes that we experienced in the last year. And they was able to bring in a big truck here in Hastings. And Hastings residents donated items for hurricane relief. And that's why they got the Good Neighbor Award. So we're very much a part of that. Thank you, Paul, and the Langenfeld Foundation. You know, recently I read a story. This mayor from Reading, Pennsylvania, and he was recounting some funny stories while he was mayor. And he said one time he was out and he was running for re-election. And he went to a bar and he saw a woman there and he bought her a drink. And she thanked him, but wondered, why did this stranger buy her a drink? He says, well, I'm running for mayor, and I want you to vote for me. She says, oh, I got it. She took her glass of beer and says, well, you're a lot better than the jerk we got in there now. I'm certainly proud and honored to be your mayor. And the one thing that I'm always reminded of is that this job requires humility. In a world where the complexity of governance is growing at a rapid pace, in Hastings we have met and will continue to meet the many challenges before our great city. To do it successfully requires excellent leadership, sound judgment, and a vision for the future. A future that is consistent with our Hastings values of maintaining our small town character while expanding housing that will bring more families here, encourage small and large businesses growth and grow here, the continuance of investment in our infrastructure, and a commitment from all in our city to embrace and celebrate the growing diversity that we're seeing in our community. Ladies and gentlemen, the state of our great city continues to be strong. As I begin today's State of the City address, I want to take a moment to recognize my fellow elected officials on your Hastings City Council. From Ward 1, we have Tina Fulch. Ward 2, Joe Balsanic. Ward 3, Lisa Leifeld. Ward 4, Trevor Lund. At-large Councilmember Mark Vaughn. And at-large Councilmember Lori Brox, who cannot be with us today. I think we read something about the flu. Unfortunately, she's recovering. In our first year together as a governing body of the city, I often think about the utterances of Winston Churchill, who once said, "Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is key to unlocking potential." My colleagues on the council are very dedicated, intelligent, and talented group of public servants. And we are very fortunate to have each one of them working for us and continuing their effort to reach their potential. They govern with a great sense of transparency, compassion, and fiscal accountability. They provide leadership, skill, and results. Yet, it's not easy being an elected official. We have worked on some difficult issues in 2017. The hard decisions that must be made, that we all must do as elected officials, can be quite difficult, especially when sometimes the tide of public opinion may not be in one's favor. Whether that be in writing a new sex offender residency ordinance, personnel decisions, or establishing priorities to the city budget, this job can be hard. Leonardo da Vinci once said, "I love those who can smile in trouble." who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by reflection, whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct. They will pursue their principles. As each of us on the council pursue our principles, we must continue to be committed to unity, even if we disagree from time to time, because only through collaboration and teamwork will we succeed. Anyone who understands the role of government, and that is many of us here in this room, understands that local government deeply impacts lives. I know, and you know, how grateful we are when the snowplow comes by after 14 inches of snow, right? Or how fun it is to take our kids or grandkids to the aquatic center or the ice arena. The excitement of a close pickleball game at the senior center. I've been there for one of those. Or the confidence we have when we turn on the tap water at home. Or the sense of relief we get when we call our police or fire department because a family member or friend needs help. These and many other examples highlight just how important these quality of life of services are. The most treasured resource we have in delivering those services is our city employees. Our employees bring exceptional professionalism with great technical skill, and they demonstrate a can-do spirit that makes all of us proud of their work. I want to especially thank our city administrator, Melanie Mesco-Lee, for her outstanding leadership in guiding the city in its day-to-day operations. You know, I have the opportunity as mayor to go to meetings across the state, whether it be the League of Minnesota Cities or the Mayor's Association, and they always come up to me and say, how's Melanie doing? You know, Melanie's doing such a great job, and former president of the ICMA, and the respect that she commands, not only in Hastings, but around the state, is incredible. So thank you, Melanie, for your efforts. Please. We also, with that, have an exceptional management. Our dedicated department heads. All the department heads, please stand who are here today. Department heads. Thank you for your job and commitment. The contributions from these individuals and from all of our union workforce and non-union personnel, we have a workforce, ladies and gentlemen, second to none. And Hastings citizens can be proud of each and every one of them. Now, unlike many of my past State of the City addresses where I've discussed some nuts and bolts content in the city's everyday operations, I want to highlight just a few very important themes that we've worked on in 2017 and will be carrying forward in 2018. You know, as I was talking to some folks a while back about our community, I mentioned that, you know, there's never been a better time to live in Hastings. I said, hey, you know, I think I just thought of a theme. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me proclaim to you something that you may already know. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. When I'm out about in the local stores or restaurants or in our parks, folks come up to me quite frequently. They say, Mayor, I got to tell you something. I said, well, what's that? Wow, our downtown looks fabulous. Or they'll say, our town overall is beautiful. Love our town. These old historic buildings that we have, they are so cool. They tell me about what the great parks and trails we have here in Hastings. They said how much they enjoy taking that 10-mile loop around the city. They said, and we probably have to have a competition someday because I've heard numerous people from all over the city say, you know what, Mayor? I live in a great neighborhood. Our neighborhood, we have the best neighborhood in town. But I've heard that in 10 different neighborhoods in our city. And to the businesses here, I want to tell you something. What I always hear from a lot of people is how much they appreciate you. Because not only is your business valuable in the city of Hastings, but the contributions you make. You know how many times someone comes into your store or place of business and say, we're having a fundraiser, do you have something? And we know that that happens. And people in our city are appreciative of that effort. And I hear from a few folks who say, I really didn't know who this LeDuc guy was. But boy, I took a tour of his house. He was really something else. Yeah, he was. So it's no wonder that the most recent community survey that we had conducted indicated that over 90% of Hastings residents rated the quality of life in our city as excellent or good. Our residents value the small town feel and the peaceful nature of our historic river town. The survey reported they feel safe here, and that's very important. All of us in this room could take great pride in that. And our residents know what we here in this room know, that there's never been a better time to live in Hastings. So when we hear about a business like Target leaving this community, it kind of dumbfounds us a little bit. So, well, we don't understand how a terrific community like Hastings can lose a valuable national retailer. And that's a very natural reaction to have. And despite the many communications from myself to Target, from the Chamber of Commerce, from a public petition that was online, and city staff, Target told us that this decision was a corporate decision. My immediate response to that is this: one retailer does not define a community. So, paraphrasing an old adage, every community faces some adversity. No one community's journey is easy. What makes communities unique is how they face the challenge. The community survey I referenced earlier said that our residents want us to focus on our local economy. We've listened, and we've begun that critical work. Hastings has never backed down from a challenge, and this is no exception. Several years ago, when the City Council established the Hastings Economic and Redevelopment Authority, others know it as HEDRA, we correctly anticipated that we must play a role in our economic future. So that projects like Napa at 15th of Vermilion, Great River Landing Project at the Hudson Building, recent business expansions at the Industrial Park, funding small business startups, and assisting projects like ArtSpace can become realities in our city. Our city has positioned itself to be more proactive in development and redevelopment efforts by hiring an economic development coordinator, by reaching out and strengthening our relationship with the Hastings Chamber of Commerce, and we have extended more effort in our economic development strategies. Our economic development support team has multiplied its efforts in reaching out to businesses by creating new and expanded economic development assistance programs. They are coordinating a business retention and expansion visiting program where they actually go to the business, sit down with the business owners, talk to them, ask them what their needs are, so we can provide the tools to have them better expand or stay in Hastings. Moreover, in attracting larger manufacturing or business operations, we have designated shovel-ready land that will be attractive to larger businesses who seek out larger parcels equipped with city utilities and discounted land costs. Furthermore, the city, working with the Chamber of Commerce, has magnified our partnerships and marketing outreach. We are engaged with organizations like DEED, MinCare Expo, Minnesota Marketing Partnership, and others to expand our footprint because they need to know what we already know. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. Small businesses are vital to any community's economic and social fabric. Our entrepreneurs in Hastings have a tremendous dedication to the community and to their customers. I want you to know that I and my colleagues on the City Council and City staff are sensitive to the many challenges a small business must face. David Rose, a New York investor and lecturer, put it best about small business owners. So all you business owners out there, I like this quote. He said, "The entrepreneurial life is the one of challenge, work, dedication, perseverance, exhilaration, agony, accomplishment, failure, sacrifice, control, powerlessness, but ultimately, extraordinary satisfaction." As we continue to market our community and spread the great news in Hastings, and we are open to business because we want entrepreneurs like that here in our city. Let us not forget the entrepreneurs who are already here, those success stories that our own talented business community members continue to make. Look at the sustained investments taking place on 2nd Street with the Fireside Restaurant opening last July, the expansion of Eye Candy Refine, renovation of 2 new businesses in the Myers Building, the opening of the Spiral Brewery, and the constant reinvestment of existing businesses in their historic downtown properties. We saw in 2017 the opening of ArtSpace, a $20 million investment downtown, soon to be joined at the other end with another $25 to $30 million investment by Great River Landing. That includes a public parking ramp, providing nearly 150 additional public parking spots. We have seen other large investments in our city, and I see Tom Thompson is here. Alina Hastings, which has invested nearly $63 million in the last couple years, providing our community with exceptional health care facilities. And Derek is here from the Y, on your table. The Hastings YMCA expansion of nearly $3.2 million. These entities know, and others know, something that we know in this room. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. In 2017 and continuing in 2018, the City of Hastings, in collaboration with consultants and input from resident stakeholder panels, have been working on our future. We are currently engaged in drafting our new 2040 comprehensive plan, a plan that will shape how Hastings will grow to serve the next generation of Hastings residents and businesses. We are also highly engaged in an exciting and energizing study that I called for over a year ago, the Vermilion Street Corridor. This effort is concentrating how best to bring new development and redevelopment strategies, infrastructure improvements, traffic flow, and aesthetic enhancements to the Vermilion Corridor. We all want, we all need a vibrant Vermilion Street Corridor. And we need positive economic activity within that corridor. This goal must and will be realized. However, let's not overlook the encouraging signs of a comeback on Vermilion Street, ladies and gentlemen. Do you notice the updates at the Midtown Shopping Center? I've noticed them. And with new businesses like Mattress Galaxy and T-Mobile that went in there, we saw an additional 7 new businesses open up on Vermilion Street. We saw Comfort by Design, Wausau Homes, Country Night Saloon, Clear Choice Pool and Spa, EDS Electronic Dental Services, Morris Martial Arts, Manusa's Hair Parlor. We even saw a valued Vermilion Street business, and I know many of are guilty because we love their donuts, at Emily's Bakery. They were on Twin Cities Live, Good Company show, highlighting their business at Vermilion Street in Hastings. They know what we already know in this room. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. As many of you know, the bike trail from Hastings to St. Paul and the Mississippi River is nearly complete. And this reminds me of a quote by H.G. Wells, once said, "Every time I see an adult on a bicycle, I no longer despair for the future of the human race." And as we continue our trail development, now to, as I mentioned, to St. Paul, right across the bridge here, the trail north of the bridge along the river to Prescott will be completed later this spring. The hard work on the third and important final link, a trail to Red Wing, is underway. Last September, at my invitation, representatives from the city of Red Wing, Dakota County, Goodhue County, Prairie Island, Ravenna Township, the Minnesota Trails and Parks Council, and of course the City of Hastings, we all got together and discussed a renewed effort to build this trail. We found that there is strong interest by all stakeholders to pursue this project, and we actually discovered in this process there are better trail connections today than they were when they first adopted this in 2009. A subgroup of technical advisors from these stakeholders was formed, and they continue to investigate the Hastings Red Wing Trail options and action plans. In fact, the technical group will be meeting in Hastings again next month. We hope to finalize these plans hopefully later this year. And Tony, with your help, we will seek legislative appropriations when the time is appropriate. As these new trails bring in visitors and dollars into our community, they will discover something that we already know. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. Ladies and gentlemen, our financial house is in good order. Our local tax capacity is continuing to grow. The City Council has been able to reduce our local tax rate 8.5 percentage points from 68.5 in 2013 to 60 today. Our city has in place established policies relating to key financial, economic, and debt ratio formulas to ensure that we do not extend debt beyond what we can afford. As a result of these sound financial policies, Standard & Poor's Rating Services has rated us an excellent AA rating. They realize something that all of us in this room realize. There's never been a better time to live in Hastings. It's been said that there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. Our community has worked hard to create better opportunities to advance our quality of life. But we do need to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, the faces of Hastings are changing. Every day we are becoming more diverse. And what do I mean, you ask? Well, diversity can be identified based on ethnic, racial, sexual, religious, socioeconomic, age, disability, or gender identification status. The demographics of Dakota County and our city are changing rapidly, where we are seeing significant growth in people of color. Our schools in Hastings report this as well. It is time that we begin a community dialogue on how we can become a more welcoming and inclusive community. A community leader once said, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget the progress and prosperity of our whole community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and needs of others for their sakes and for our own. We must realize that strength and opportunity, economic and otherwise, lies in our differences, not in our similarities. In that spirit, Councilmember Liefeld, I, and city staff are engaged in discussions with school board members, school administrators, and citizens in creating a Hastings Community Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiative, focused in understanding these issues. Look for the city and school district to expand on this initiative in the coming months ahead. We love Hastings. And earlier I didn't get a chance, but I want to introduce, well, we call her the Queen Mum, my mother. Okay? Mom raised me as a little boy here in Hastings. She grew up in Hastings. My great-grandmother grew up in Hastings. I had a great-grandfather that worked at the mill that's burned down along the Vermilion. He was a big pipe smoker, so I hope that wasn't the start of the fire. So we go way back, and we love Hastings, don't we, Mom?
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm. And I know all of us do in this room. We are a proud and charitable community. We volunteer to promote the common good. We care about our kids. We care about our neighbors, our seniors. We care about our veterans and our faith communities. It is with these set of values that we will continue to embrace a more welcoming community, a community that celebrates inclusion and access for all. That will demonstrate to all visitors and new residents alike what we in this room already know. Please say it with me, okay? Because I've said it numerous times. I think you've got it down now. There has never been a better time to live in Hastings. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. We love Hastings. Okay? And don't forget dessert. Okay.